All right. We'd like to welcome everyone to our celebration of Francis Brabazon today, and we have Raine Eastman to kick us off. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Raine. Hey, Baba.
Jai Baba, and good morning. On the 24th of January 1907, Francis Brabazon was born in England. He was one of 3 children, and at age 5 or 6, his father, who was a utopian socialist looking for the new world, emigrated after going to many, many lectures by William Morris. And even shaking the hand of William Morris, Percy decided the whole family should emigrate to Utopia and start over afresh, off the grid, in Victoria, Australia. And off they went, the parents and the 3 children, to the most ghastly small town outside Australia where you couldn't even grow an onion. So eventually, Percy went back to the city and opened in the illustrious lanes of Melbourne an amazing second-hand bookstore. And our Francis Brabazon followed Dad to work there because he too could not grow anything in this little town on this small piece of land. If you read The Wind of the Word, you can find out ghastly things about that little town and the gossiping butcher's wife and various other things. And so he worked in the shop and read every single book in the second-hand bookstore, probably several times. When he used up all those books, then he would go to other bookstores and borrow books, wrap them in brown paper, read them from cover to cover, then take them back so he wasn't stealing, with the brown paper off and the book looking brand new again. His own library covered the entire width by several shelves of Baba's house at Avatuzabode. Massive library, an incredible reader. Nothing much he hadn't read, as we see if we try to read all the books listed in the back of Stay with God. And when we'd ask him, when we did the readings of Stay with God, what does that mean? He'd say, just keep reading, don't break the flow of the reading, keep reading, just buy all the books in the back and read them, and then you'll understand what it's about. So we did. Well, we tried to. We'd go to this bookstore or that bookstore or the American bookstore and try and buy these rare books. But we did, and we tried, and by the 3rd reading, in between the readings, we would read The God-Man or Everything and Nothing several times because of Francis's involvement in that book. And by about the 3rd or 4th reading, we pretty much had a good handle on what was going on. And if we didn't, then he'd write us a play about Milarepa, so we did know, or a play about Mansour al-Alaj, and then we did know. And so it went, with his small flock of mostly hippies, except of course for Felix, who had been very well educated in Switzerland and could write music and everything, and type and do all sorts of amazing things. Francis wrote from 8:30 in the morning till about 8 at night, with a break for breakfast, morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea and dinner. There was a reading once a week that would be in a well-established home like the Brufords or the Maronis or so on around the mountain. And once a month there would be a monthly meeting at Avatuzabode. I really, when I look back on it, as a young woman, I can't understand how we understood all we did, but we memorized it, and I suppose it goes on blossoming because of that. So today, on Monday, on the 24th of January, Francis was born. He was very neat and tidy. He also died on the 24th of June, 1984. So we can't forget his birth date and his parting date. So today we'll just share some memories, songs, poems, and take turns. In between here and there, I will actually be singing songs with melodies that Francis wrote. But before we begin, I would like to share with you something Jim shared with me last night. by email, of course, because Jim lives in the nether out there somewhere in the outback. In 1970, Francis Brabazon gave this speech for the first anniversary of Baba's Amatithi at Avatar's Abode, Australia. Francis had recently returned to Australia from Herazade, where he had lived with Baba as his Poet Mandali resident for 10 years. Francis says, "This year will be 53 years since our beloved Baba dropped his body. But the fresh grief of his passing and the consolation of Baba's eternal presence captured in this speech continues to ring true. His departure was his sign to us that it was time for us to depart from ourselves. His departing in silence was so that he would listen in the stillness of our hearts for his word of words, and the victory again be his. His departure was his sign to us that it was time for us to depart from ourselves. His departing in silence was that so that he would listen in the stillness of our hearts for his word of words, and the victory will again be his." A talk given by Francis at the first anniversary. "1 year ago today, beloved Baba covered his form with the veil of his compassion so that we would be led or driven to seek him in the reality of himself, instead of clinging to him in the shape of his love. By his act of dropping his body, he showed that he expected us to seek his reality, and he challenged us to measure up to his expectation. No doubt today and for many succeeding anniversaries, those who are close to him will feel again the desolation they experienced when he suddenly withdrew himself and was no longer with them as he had been for so many years. And those who had fallen in love with him on seeing his picture and hearing his name, and who longed to come to him, will remember the emptiness, the sudden shift of the axis of their universe when the news was flashed across the world that he had not waited for them to come to him, but had preceded them to their divine rendezvous with him." Jai Baba. So I'll just open with a short song, which is a prelude to some of the songs I'll share between what other people share. And it's the opening song to a play Francis wrote, one of the many plays Francis wrote, called "Being is Dying by Loving." And the play begins at dawn, and it goes for 24 hours, and it stops at dawn. Being is dying by loving. This is the song which I, the dawn, am bringing. Awake, arise for love's dear sake. Awake and sing. Jai Baba. Jim, would you like to open up with something of Francis's, a story and a song?
I can do a song. This is taken from The Beloved is All in All, which I believe was a collection of poems that was published after Francis passed away, but I may be wrong about that, but I think that's true. And Francis, I remember in 1969 during the Darshan that Francis, one of the things that he told us was, he said to Baba, when he was with Baba, he said, "Baba, you alone exist, and I do not. but we are both here. And that, you know, that there's this constant tension and dichotomy in Francis's poetry between the world as substance and the world as illusion. And I believe we all experience that. So this song, it's called Ready to Sing, and it has that tension in it about how the world is really not much of anything, yet we have to deal with it. In so many billion years, the earth will be a dead thing. By then I will have tuned my heart and be ready to sing. My brothers are they who are inundated by sorrow. For them the sun no more rises, there is no tomorrow. We gather where guitars give out vibrant chords and violins weep. Time must be passed somehow until the sower comes out to reap. In so many billion years, the earth will be a dead thing. By then I will have tuned my heart and be ready to sing, accompanied by guitars of lightning and violins of rain. I will sing a new song as God shoves a new earth into place again. And God, laughing behind rainbows, will be stretching out his hand for my love fruit. As from the notes of my singing come forth in radiant reptile, bird, and brood. In so many billion years, the earth will be a dead thing. By then I will have tuned my heart and be ready to sing. I sing mayhem. I sing mayhem.
Jay Baba. The book that Jim could do another one from too is The Beloved Is All in All, which was published in 1987, I believe, thereabouts. One of the 30th anniversary, that I know. And it was a lot of leftover guzzles that were not in Indust I Sing and then fixed up, and some with some rewrites. You can tell that from the moon phases and things. And turned out to be a wonderful book. It's ready for republishing, and if anybody would like an index to it set out the same way as the Word at World's Indust I Sing, I can forward that to you if you put your email in the chat. So Jim, I would like you to sing one I favour, and that is The Smell of Wine on My Breath.
Well, you are very intuitive, because that's just what I was going to do.
So this song Jim's about to sing It's only a theory, of course, but I have a theory about it. And Francis is talking about that he's going to kick the bucket any minute here. Francis had a time in his life at Maribad where he became incredibly ill, and Baba was most concerned, and he was actually sent to Maribad for, I think, 2 to 3 months for Padri to cure him. And it's how he bonded so strongly with Padri and Sidhu and Mansari and the Maribad people, which didn't happen at all before then because Baba didn't go to Maribad at that point. And so in my mind, I know he knows serious illness and being at death's door, and Jim does a marvelous version of this ghazal which refers to such matters. Thanks, Jim.
All right. You have expressed much loving kindness to me of late, bending down from your beyondness, tender, compassionate, bending down as a beautiful rain cloud, healing the parched earth, as a breeze from the hills, filling the night with its perfume breath. And by this I know that I am now not very far from death, which I welcome, for it will bring me closer to you in birth. Because of your loving kindness, I can cheerfully welcome death. And I know I will be born again with the smell of wine on my breath. I would only grieve if there were none to take my place in song duty. But you have lovers enough to celebrate your eternal beauty. And will not my dust whisper inspired songs in the singer's ears, so that they will sing all night, sing till the pale dawn appears? And will not you, beloved, in the dawn open to them your door? And a few drops may spill on my dust from the wine you pour. Because of your loving kindness, I can cheerfully welcome death. And I know I will be born again with the smell of wine on my breath.
Wonderful. And I know I will be born again with the smell of wine on my breath. I was just thinking as that was going to tell you that something very sad happened today. John Borthwick passed away of a heart attack today. For those that know John and Wendy and their incredible philanthropy in the Baba world, this is a very sad day for us all. Jai Baba, John, as you go on ahead. Happy trails with your lovely, kind, bending, tall nature. Jai Baba. So I'm going to sing that song all weekend for him, Jim. Thank you. So now back to something more cheerful, because this is a birthday. Francis didn't like the happy birthday song. He thought it was just too old. And Francis, as we know, loved to make things new. And so he wrote a birthday song in 1976 for our dear May Lundquist, who met Baba many times. And so he said in the end, just don't put her name in it, just leave a dash so anyone's name can go in it. So I thought for a lark we would sing Francis's happy birthday song to Francis. Happy Baba birthday to you, dearest Francis. May beloved Baba bless you all your days. Happy Baba birthday to you, dearest Francis. May your heart ever sing beloved Baba's praise. Oh, may you have 100 years to serve beloved God, to laugh in the land in which his dear feet have trod, for heart to warble like a magpie in the sun's rising, the same few notes yet ever new and surprising. Happy Baba birthday to you, dearest Francis. May beloved Baba bless you all your days. Happy Baba birthday to you, dearest Francis. May your heart ever sing beloved Baba's praise. Oh, may you have 100 years to serve beloved God, to laugh in the land in which his dear feet have trod, for heart to bloom like a rose whose colour is the same, but ever exhales the sweet perfume of his name. Happy Baba birthday to you, dearest Francis. May beloved Baba bless you all your days. Happy Baba birthday to you, dearest Francis. May your heart ever sing beloved Baba's praise. Jai Baba. Hey Ken, I see you've got headphones and you're all set up there. Would you like to present something for Francis's birthday?
Yeah.
Great.
Sure. In fact, I'm hoping just to see if this even comes through with the sound.
Sound is good
Because
so
I'm not
far.
home.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see how it goes. This
A little
is
quiet.
It's a little quiet. How about, does that make any difference? Or no?
That sounds good here.
It's still a little quiet. Somebody said it was a little quiet. Is that better?
Yeah, I think that's better.
Yes.
Okay, good. See, this is great. Access to sound check for tomorrow. All right.
Ken, just in case you have a cell phone on, we're getting an echo. If you could turn it off or move it away.
It may be, just a sec, let me try something. How's that? Does that better?
There you go, and clearer too. Thank you.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. Okay. I wrote this back in about 1972, I think. And I know there's other versions around, but I'll give it a try. I haven't sung it since then. This is from the East-West Gathering. I am truth, I am love, and to you this I say. I will keep your hearts until their break of day. Will you love me true? Will you love me always? For I have loved you since first morning. Will you follow me and not repine? Will you drink my cup for old lang syne? Be it vinegar or the sweetest of wine, I've cherished you since first morning. That morning when I woke and I started to sing, put on the universe as one might a ring, and I sent you forth to grow as buds in the spring, on that first most glorious morning. You went with a shout and you went with a cheer. But my heart was torn because you were so dear. I knew then it would be good many a year.
Ken, you've cut out. Ken, you've come unplugged.
I wrapped you with love. What's that? Wrapped you with care for the long, long trail where we'd meet again, with your heart so fair as they opened like flowers in that morning. Now the day is here and the dawn has spread. White sky from your heart, the rose that bled from. Now there's no more trail, there's no trail left to tread. Only singing in this morning. I am truth, I am love, and to you this I say, I will keep your hearts until their break of day. Will you love me true? Will you love me always? For I have loved you since first morning.
Jai Baba. East-West Gathering, what a remarkable book. Baba said before that song, but through working for me as you should work for me, you will arrive at that rightness where, in a moment, I can give you that which you have been seeking for millions of years, for I am truth, I am love, and to you I say I will keep your hearts till their break o' day. Do you have another one, Ken? We can't hear you, Ken. You keep breaking up or the mic keeps coming out of the computer.
Okay. I think am I unmuted now?
Yes, you are.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure that I do have another one. I mean, I have a whole bunch. There's Stay
Well,
with
you
God,
look,
which is
I know, you've done the whole Stay with God. God help us.
But I really wasn't prepared to do anything today.
Okay, well, why don't you look for something?
Celebrate Francis. So I think I'll hold for now.
All right, well, if you find something, just raise your hand. Anyone raise their hand. Right now, I'd just like Bill to read a lovely essay that goes before the song The Loud Sounding Sea from Being is Dying by Loving.
Meher Baba often used the ocean as a symbol of divine being and likened us, people, to drops of that ocean. We are very ocean itself, but we are only conscious of ourselves as drops. The why and wherefore of this is a long story, and would bore beloved Baba if I were to attempt to recount it. Sufficient here to say, the ocean became a drop, but remained ocean. The huge became tiny, and remained huge. The boundless became bounded, and remained boundless. And because of the love of the ocean for each of its separated drops, periodically the ocean becomes a drop, while still retaining its oceanity. The divine drop is the avatar, who suffers the limitations of each drop while at the same time reminding it that in reality it is ocean. And God set a rainbow in the sky as a sign that no drops will ever be abandoned, but will eventually return to the ocean and become ocean.
Thank you, Bill. There's a lovely song that goes with that. I always think of Michael LePage when I think of this song because he was a surfing young teenager when we first met him. Melody by Francis and words by Francis. May her beloved, beloved, may her Baba, that is the message to me, sung by the loud sounding sea. May her beloved, beloved, may her Baba, that is the message to me, sung by the loud sounding sea. Out there in the surf a young man rides a curling wave to freedom. On the beach a boy plays in the sand. He too is a king with a kingdom. May her beloved, beloved, may her Baba, that is the message to me, sung by the loud sounding sea. We all dream the shapes of our bright seeming. Baba says that one day he will break his silence for our longed for redeeming. Speak his word and we will all awake. May her beloved, beloved, may her Baba, that is the message to me, sung by the loud sounding sea. Here in love we stick to our song stations, waiting for the glory of his word. Pour the blood of song out in oblations to our fair beloved and dear Lord. May her beloved, beloved, may her Baba, that is the message to me, sung by the loud sounding sea. I saw Noreen singing along there. Noreen has become completely accomplished in singing Being is Dying by Loving songs. She somehow got hold of the CD and she just sings as she drives about, and she knows them all now. So when I come up that way, she's going to be singing them with me. Hey Jack, I see you there. A long time fan of Francis. Have you got something to read for us, or about Francis, or a story?
Yeah, I got one thing I wanted to ask you. Do you know anything about his ancestry?
Yes, there was a Lord Brabazon in Ireland. He's Irish, of course. The family emigrated to England. They're Irish, very Irish. And if one really looks back through, say, Carol Ann, harp music, Carol Ann used to write plangsties for the Brabazon family. And there's 2 or 3 of them. So it's a well-known Irish family. They may have just been serfs on the Brabazon estate, I don't know, but they have the surname Brabazon. So the roots of the lineage are Irish.
What county are they in?
I don't know. I'd have to look. I'd have to go back over. Well, actually, we don't really know if Francis Brabazon's family really did come from Lord Brabazon, but you know, I like to presume that because I'm a Carol Ann fan. So, but the mother was English, so
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Okay.
She played piano. She was very well educated too, as well as Percy.
Right. Well, anyway, I read this yesterday to our party group, and I said I would read it today on Francis's birthday, and it's my tribute to him because I think he's incredible. Anyway, and it's to the beloved, and the beloved has an enjoinder at the end. Oh, beloved, once you said with adamant flair that all words to me are nothing. But duality still rules the world, and we despair until you unleash your poets to make our hearts sing. And so it is that you set my hand in motion to praise one of your own whom you infused with praise of you with such a powerful potion. His words clear the air, and no longer need we be confused. For who are loved poets or a poetess? Are they the ones who think in music or act out on the stage of paper? Or whose dance is the movement of pen and hand, the results of which withstand time's ephemeral vapors? So are you open to a poetic flair? Perhaps a feeling here or there, unavailable to those who through life have dozed, eyes and ears, hearts and tears, these ducts that remain somehow closed. For poetry is truth in motion, a liquid likeness of an universal notion, beautiful and fair, as long as love is in residence there. So, O you of a mind to mentate a word, neither catch the fleeting glance, nor will be heard the echo of yourself in budding rhyme, until one's heart is touched and torn by time. Such is the way for those of vision slanted, who take life and love for granted, barreling through expressions hidden, their history a life better never have been written. For poetry is harmony in action, for that of the heart knows no faction, a dance of pen and hand, whose words and music seek to land and unlock the heart and enrich the mind with treasures that only love can find, whose music paints the colors of the celestial spheres, evoking feelings that may lead to tears and help us climb love's ladder's rungs to filter out the cacophony of babbling tongues. And who is this one that dares us uncover the truth of ourselves with syllables of poetic music amidst the prodding like mischievous elves, whose shout in the main goes unheard among the lies of the living? Must he wait for us to be his herald, only when we lay a flower on his grave, as though his poetry is no longer giving? Such is this man drowned in love's fire, who processed truth's words so as to inspire the duty to serve the only one who exists, to help forget ourselves, though Maya persists, such a life that he led to the master's door, that we who follow can endure his words forevermore. O singers and wordsmiths of my song, listen to this one and what he says, for his words are truer than ever before, and his rhyme is pure, and his love is mine, a way to lead you to my door. Thank you. And I hope 200 years from now, someone will remember that poem. I won't be around. Thank you for listening.
Lovely. Jay Barber, thank you, Jay. I notice Mary Ann's here up nice and early from Adelaide. Mary Ann, would you like to present something for Francis's birthday?
Yes, hello, Jay Barber.
Jay Barber.
Yesterday, I live in the desert practically, but yesterday we had a gentle rain falling, and I walked outside and I thought of Ghazal number 96. So I'd like to read that. Last night while we slept, gentle rain fell over the land. The valley at daybreak was a crystal cup in God's hand. If my heart were like this, the Master would not stint me wine, nor would the rose of my sweetheart's lips my proffered song decline. Soon love's virtue locked in the orchard will make it fruit again, but the singer's mouth will utter no new song without love's rain. Though the pain of singing is too much for the poor singer's heart, since the beloved's glance robbed him of sense, he knows no other art. Honour him with banquets and titles, or kick him down the street. Somehow or other he will find his way back to the Master's feet. Happy is he when he remains unknown, a dweller in dust, with an empty glass in his hand, and in his heart perfect trust. But when the Master feels it from the crystal jar in his hand, his song goes as a perfumed breeze over the face of the land. Jay Barber.
Jay Barber. Mary Ann, do you have a song for us? Mary Ann has a beautiful voice and is a singer as well.
I haven't, but I can, in about 5 minutes, I can organise something.
Yes, just raise your hand.
Okay.
And Debbie, were you going to do something for us? Debbie Nordine? She must have stepped away for a minute. I thought of doing this song Francis wrote, which, as a person with a degree in music, is a masterpiece. O sun in splendor, rising over the brim of my heart's flowing cup, each glistening wine drop is a rainbow. See victory, beloved, victory to you. Be loved. When such a radiant morning is born from so dark a night, when such a radiant morning is born from so dark a night, how keen will be my seeing when on you I have full sight, and I have lost myself in your loving light, your all-pervading light. Your holy light is flooding over this fair that had me, and every raindrop is a shining shield, emblazoned victory, beloved, victory to you. Beloved, when such a radiant morning is born from so dark a night, when such a radiant morning is born from so dark a night, how keen will be my seeing when of you I have full sight, and I have lost myself in your loving light, your all-pervading light. So, who else has it? Please raise your hand if you have, because I don't know a lot of these other people. I hope Debbie would come and do something, but I think she went off for a moment. Debbie Nordine.
I've got one, Raine.
Oh, okay, Betty, lovely, thank you.
Yeah.
Raine, can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yes.
If you're going to sing anymore, can you push your microphone back a little bit? You were breaking up a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Joe. And I think Debbie went off to tell Peter she looked quite visibly shocked with that news about John Borthwick. I think that's the other.
Yes, thank you, Jeanette.
This is a little song by Francis that we have been working up in our sign language class. So I'm going to do some signs with it. Rosie, if you want to sign along, that's great. And we've decided in our class we're using this sign. It's Baba's sign for himself. That's otherwise it's Americans, ASL, the American Sign Language. Okay. Baba is making it new. Baba is making it new for you. Baba is in your hands to do. Baba is making it new. Baba is making it new for you. Baba is in your hands to do. You've got the whole world in front of you. Make it new and make it true. Do not worry about the past. It had to go 'cause it could not last. It has no place in the new. Oh, Baba is making it new. Baba is making it new for you. Baba is in your hands to do. Jai Baba. Thanks, Rosalie.
Jai Baba. You left out all the other bits you've got to learn to sign, Betty.
Oh, tell me. We'll get to go. Okay, is there more?
Well, there's a spoken word between each Baba is.
Oh, okay. I'll look. Okay. Is that east, west? Okay, I'll look.
It's in the Golden Book.
Well, that's why I don't have it. Okay. All right. We'll talk. Now there is. Oh, it's Rosalie again. You got a hand up, Raine.
Okay, Rosalie. But just before we go on to Rosalie, you have the Baba is, and then Francis says, and then he said to them, go now to your respective stations, stone stuff to stone mass, people to tribes and nations. Baba is making it
new.
Baba is making it new for you. Baba is in your hands to do. And he said, I'll visit each and all of you in due season, for we cohere with an infinite divine cohesion. Oh, Baba is making it new. Baba is. And God put lightning in the sky and gave them a voice and the rainbow so they could behold and rejoice. Yeah, Baba is
Yes,
making it new. Baba
Barbara
is
is, well, I'm not
making
doing
it new for
it.
you.
You do it.
And God saw that nothing was ill-made or had any blot. And he said to himself with a smile, who am I not? Yea, Baba is making it new. Baba is making it new for you. Baba is in your hands to do. You have a whole day in front of you. Make it new and make it true. Do not bother about the past. It went because it could not last and had no place in the new. It's the song of the new humanity and being is dying by loving.
Oh, all right. I'll have to talk to you. Okay.
Nothing is ill-made or had any blot. Rosalie.
Hey, Baba.
Say
A little humor. I got to liking this song about shining road through my heart, and at the same time, I schooled to be a traffic violation instructor. That means if you were cited for improper driving, you had to go to traffic school. And because I thought it would be good, I would have a captured audience for comedy. I was into comedy. But at any rate, I got my first class. Oh, she hired me because I reminded her of Lily Tomlin. So I got my first class and I sang one line from that shining road. I'll just sing the line. Shining road through my heart, stretching far away, making the night glorious, erasing the stains of the day. Well, that was my debut in this violation class, and one of the violators complained. He said he didn't come there to go to Sunday school. Anyway, so that was I gave it up. I thought Sunday school, that's not Sunday school. That's a great song. Anyway, one thing I wanted to share is it's about death because I love the quote. Man is born and dies and is reborn until he dies into the deathless and is never born again. But one man, being birthless and deathless, takes birth again and again because of the cry of the world for release from the burden of living and to mirror himself in the tears of his lovers. These are just things that I love. And there's one other, a short one that I absolutely love. We met, exchanged greetings, and went on, laughing. In each one's laughter was news of the beloved. I love that.
Fabulous.
It's like a Australian haiku. And I actually wanted to sing this one I absolutely love. It's Eileen. And he wrote it about a sister who had died. And I've sung it to many people on that occasion. The moon the moon pales as she sails on her journey nightly. The dawn breaks, Eileen wakes. His sister's name was Eileen. The sun rises brightly, and her soul to her heart begins a sweet singing. For today is the day that her darling is bringing. May hair the most fair of all fair, the fairest, the perfume, the soft bloom of all singing rarest, has promised this day that itself will be pacing the petal-strewn path to her house to be gracing. Then she rose and quick chose the best of her dresses, spent not long in soft song and combing her tresses. He came to her gate and she flew to him crying, and the flowers inhaled the breath of her sighing. He held her and told her the one ancient story that ever as a river reflects its first glory. Amidst the bright flowers, she left her care sleeping. Oh, I wonder why it is that I now am weeping. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, thank you, Rosalie. A favourite song, Eileen. In fact, it's the first Baba song I ever sang in
Wow.
June 1970. Yeah, I only knew one at that point. Francis taught me the melody, and Chris Gray was my accompanist. And he tuned up for 10 minutes till I was shaking like a leaf. And then on his 12-string guitar. And then in June 1970, I went from being a dancer to being a singer and sang Eileen. Mary, I see you've got your guitar. Can you sing us a song now?
Yeah, thank you, Raine. This is one of Francis's beautiful little songs that are so, they're almost childlike, but they're just so beautiful, called No Tree. No tree that gives its cool shade without any rain. No flower has ever blossomed that charged for its scent. But men are not so. But men are not so. All they do is for payment. That is how men are. No field that gives its herbage without thought of gain. No stream withholds its water, though no sign of rain. So then will men be. So then will men be. When their hearts sing may his name, that's how men will be. It's very short, but it's very pretty.
Beautiful song. I love that song. Thank you. I just wanted to mention Rosalie singing Shining Road. It's in the Golden Book of Praise. It's one of the terrific blues songs that Francis wrote. It's quite something to sing it, and you did a good job, Rosie. It's a very complicated melody, Shining Road.
I'll never forget the first time I heard that sung by Patricia at Advertiser Bowden. It was just glorious.
Yeah.
Shining Road. It was just
yes, it's got these little squiggles everywhere in the music that Sam tried to communicate to Chris Haffenden, and shining road through my heart, shining road stretching away, and he managed it, you know. It's really quite, go Chris, you know. Making the night glorious, erasing the stains of the day. Go Chris, that's really good work, I think. Beautiful song. So
Debbie's back.
Debbie, would you like to share a story or a song or something, please?
Well, sorry I disappeared. Somebody stopped by and I'm back. So I'm just enjoying this so much. All I wanted to add to this fantastic sharing today. Is I was reading Marwan Jasawala's book, and my heart just it nearly broke when I read his account of what happened when Francis just really broke down one day. He said Marwan said they all started weeping. And I just think, I don't know, that just speaks to, oh, who Francis was. And I think one of the points that Marwan made was that Francis said, I can't bear that man's patience. I think it's something like that. You could correct me if that's wrong. He's talking about Baba, of course, that Baba was so tolerant and patient. Anyway, I just wanted to share that really touched me when I read in the book about Francis and his breaking point. Jai Baba.
That brings to mind Merwan's favorite Francis song too was Because of Love, Debbie. Because Baba said, you've got it. I don't know in what series, that certainly wasn't the 35th Ghazal, but it's Ghazal 35. But Sam's attempt at it's fantastic. I think there's one other girl had a go at Because of Love. An amazing ghazal, if you want to look that one up. So in between, I was going to do Unusual Things that Francis wrote the melody of. That's right, that's where I'm at. A little distracted today, Debbie. A little distracted. 1,000 times I've said what a beloved you are. How does that sound? Is that better with the mic further away? 1,000 times I've said what a beloved you are. 1,000 times I've fled from your glances mayhair, only to return to the shelter of your smile. Certainty is mine, yet I can never be sure, save of one thing. One day I will arrive at nowhere, and you will be everywhere, and I shall sing on that glad day of grace, when my song has become one note, the pure note of your name. The heavens will tremble and blush with shame, because they caused me to dissemble before you, beloved Mayhair. 1,000 times in joy I have set out for your door, hoping you would employ my hands to sweep your floor, only to find that you had spread a feast for me. Certainty is mine, yet I can never be sure, save of one thing. One day I will arrive at nowhere, and you will be everywhere, and I shall sing. I think we find it in the family letters written in about 1968. Marnie mentions Francis coming into the room and singing it to Baba. And it got popped in Being is Dying by Loving as well. Right before us, he says, it's sung near the end where they'd been waiting on the seashore for Baba, these men, and he didn't show up, they thought. And the first man says he told each of us to secretly meet him last night where the 5 roads meet by the seashore. We came each alone along one of the roads, stumbling because footless, headless because blind to all but the road ahead. But he did not come. And now another morning is about to stride into our lives like an army of brass to leave a new carnage behind it in its progress. And after we had sung all the old songs and memorized and remembered all the memories, he had been there all along. Jeanette, do you have a story or a song for us?
Not likely a song, darling. Cheeky. I don't really have stories because, of course, my stories are all after the fact of Francis. But that last reading was so poignant because "The Thousand Times" was one of Norfolk's favourite songs, often requests. Yes, goodness gracious me, what to do. I didn't really come prepared for this to be participation, Raine. I was expecting to. And I'm sitting here doing bunya nuts, which is an Australian seasonal thing that in this part of the world, not Australian, Southeast Queensland seasonal activity. We have enormous pine cones that are about this, the nuts from inside them, and then we use an instrument, a torture, to cut them open.
Can you see what the nuts look like again?
Oh, like this. Can you see that? And then when you cut them open, inside these is this. I mean, this, and then we roast them.
Is that what we call Brazil nuts? No,
No.
maybe different. They're different.
They look similar. I wish I had a full cone here. I don't, because I was thinking that would have been a nice show and tell. They're huge. They can kill a person if they land on your head.
What did you call them? What did you call them?
Bunya nuts.
Bunyan. Oh.
Bunya.
Bunya.
An indigenous word. Oh, so Raine, just doing a file, I can do 2. You choose 99, The Eternal Awakener of Lovely Spring, or Water, 47.
Water.
Water?
Birth and death.
Water. In fact, it wasn't a true file. These both happen to be marked because I read them recently. Excuse me. Water, by being in love with death, gives life to all things. Desiring absorption in the ocean, it flows and sings. The song of water is reflected in greenness. It assumes incredible tallness in men's hearts, where it perfectly blooms. It is so docile it goes wherever you conduct it, so raging that it sweeps aside all that would obstruct it. Its nature is female. It always flows in curves. Try to grasp it, it eludes you. Respect it, it serves. It occupies the smallest place, yet spreads everywhere. Its boundlessness can only be expressed by a tear. As water are the lovers of God, tall in humility, forever passing away in eternal stability. Falling ever at the beloved's feet, they spring up in their fall, and springing, singing like giant flowers, excuse me, they shed perfume on all. Jai Meher Baba.
Jai Baba, a favourite ghazal. A favourite ghazal. I used to have a beautiful drawing of big flowers and Mera in the middle on a poster in my house, water. A poem came to a light last night and Guzzle 69. And we had been asked to write a play ourselves by Francis, and he got involved in it and changed it from The Life of Mansur al-Hallaj. Just like that, right? So when he saw it and heard it, he liked it, but he said it needed a couple of songs. So Raine, could you put this guzzle and this guzzle to music by next Saturday when we put it on? And I think I'd only written like My Heart Has Strings, one song at that point, and I didn't play, my guitar was still in learning phase. But anyway, I'll try and do it. It's a Ralph Vaughan Williams versioning of the melody, because I had to borrow a troubadour melody for It's a Queer Lot and this melody for These Are Mature Men. These are mature men. These are mature men gathered round this campfire tonight. Men with discriminating palate, trained ear and love sight. Yes, these are mature men gathered round this campfire tonight. Men with discriminating palate, trained ears and love sight. You cannot serve them any old song, any sort of wine. They are connoisseurs of vintageous tone, rhythm and line. They have been under a master musician since childhood. Their ancestors were all hermit kings, fierce spirit and mild blood. The qualifications for the path of love are these: a gale of destruction to oneself, to others a soft dawn breeze. When a man can suffer heart's tempest while his forehead smiles, he is fit for sea travel, deserts and mountain defiles. When he becomes both the fabled lion and the lamb at play, he will meet that master who can set his feet on the way. That master poet, musician who is seller of old wine, for the price of a love song that is true in tone, rhythm and line. I might add, I was super embarrassed that I had knocked off these two tunes to write these two guzzles in a week. But I got very good at taking other people's tunes, like Francis did, and popping them under a song when the master asks for them overnight, right? Does anyone have anything else to present here? How about you, Jim? Give us another one. How about a shanty? How about being shanghaied?
All right, we'll do that one. So this poem comes from The Beloved Is All in All, and it's, I mean, my experience, I spent 3 or 4 days with Francis in 1971. I flew from Vietnam to Avatar's abode with some hitchhiking in between. And this poem reminds me of Francis's personality. This is called the Shanghai Sailor's Song. Oh, I never signed on for this voyage. I was shanghaied. When I awoke, we were sailing out on the springtide. And it's 8 on and 4 off, and smart to it at the bosun's whistle, and the grub is weevil, biscuits and meat. Oh, grease and gristle. And when I complained, the captain said, "You're on for the round trip. Like it or lump it, this is a trader and not a tourist ship. Ah, but you'll get paid fairly at the end of the voyage, and you'll be paid in gold and not by a check. So see it out with courage." Now we've rounded the Horn with all its storms, and are become on a sea of oil. But at night you can almost pick the white flowers growing from the sky's dark soil. Oh, maybe when we come to the Singing Islands, we'll be allowed ashore. Or maybe the captain will want to lose half his crew, and he'll have to Shanghai more. Oh, those star flowers, they comfort me. They and the sailors' homeland songs, which are sung with one voice but in a dozen different tongues. They say, oh, you'll get paid fairly at the end of the voyage. You'll be paid in gold and not by a check. So see it all out with courage.
That's the crusty stuff, Jim. That's it. You got shanghaied. You resisted for a long time, but you got shanghaied anyway. And that's because Jim made Francis a cup of tea.
No, I never made him the cup of tea.
You did so. And he pulled a tea bag out of his pack.
No, I'll tell you, the true story is this.
All right.
I was sitting with Francis. I was a combat medic, and I had been living in the jungles for 10 months. And when I came to Avatar's abode, Francis said, "Let me make you a cup of tea." I said, "No, Francis, sit down. I'll make you a cup of tea." First of all, I'd never been, this is Francis's house. I didn't know where the tea was, and I couldn't find a tea bag. And the only thing I saw in the other room was an old tea bag laying in a spoon. So I thought, well, if I can't find any tea bags, being from the jungles, you just take whatever you got and you make. So meanwhile, he had snuck into the other room and was watching me grab this used tea bag. And he just said, "Stop, stop. That's the most barbaric thing I've ever seen." That I was going to make him a cup of tea with a used tea bag. He called me a barbarian.
Stop, you barbarian.
Yeah, that's right. Stop, you barbarian.
Thanks, Jim. That's great. Bill Gannett is going to read a tribute ghazal to Francis that he wrote. Bill Gannett.
Here's a ghazal I wrote thinking of Francis in the style of Francis's ghazal writing. The title is, or the first line is, "We have surrendered to you as Lord, Master, and Friend." We have surrendered to you as Lord, Master, and Friend. Your glory as truth and beauty we have sworn to defend. Our allegiance to the past is buried with a shovel. We no longer live in the rite and ritual's shoddy hovel. Truth's bright flame does not burn in religious cant, and smolders in the black smoke of priestly rant. Institutional faith has passed its expiration date. Moldy white bread served on a gilded dinner plate. We no longer despair about religion's probity. We no longer despair about religion's integrity. Long ago we consigned it to the outhouse probity. We have remained cheerful despite spiritual filth. The beloved smile uplifts us with joyous mirth. Our great fortune is to no longer bother with the dull. Darvish cries out with each breath, the beloved is all in all.
Jai Baba, thank you. That's from Guzzles for the Friend by Bill Gannett. Oh, I see a new hand there, Noreen.
Yes, I do have my hand up. I'm going to read a Brian Darnell, but it's about Francis. So that means it counts, right?
Absolutely. Whatever counts, whatever brings to mind, it's all valid. He was very into us doing what we do. Go ahead.
This is A Journeyman's Hands. Francis said, as stone into dust, long to be crushed. The duty of the lover is to sing his beloved's gift of song, articulate the pain in the distance between mouth and ear, between heart and heart, solely for the beloved's amusement and entertainment. Sing, O lover, a reminder of the day when you'll bear no song, no mouth, and no need of one, being at last the unutterable truth. That's the promise Francis clutched in a journeyman's hands, sang with wine-bright eyes through an old man's broken throat, a gift for his beloved and for his lovers, gathered near and soon to follow that bowed, dusty codger into oblivion. O child of God, begin your apprenticeship as a lover under that old Aussie plowman, stonemason, poet. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, that's terrific. You have to send me a copy of that. That's great. Can't keep up with Brian. We need another book again, Brian. I thought I would just, to see as Jim lightened the mood up there, I would do a short section of a song, but the song has an introduction. It's from, Francis would include the children in the plays, and it's from Still in Being is Dying by Loving, that's 29 scenes, and it's called Buttons. Hello, buttons on Barbara's coat. Where are you going? Nowhere. What are you going to do when you get there? Nothing. Well, why go? We aren't. You called us buttons on Barbara's coat. Does a button go anywhere? The button goes where the coat goes, and the coat goes where when the master puts it on. And to become buttons is our highest goal. We go to him hoping he will make us so. But since he's everywhere, there's really nowhere to go. So we go to him who is always with us. He's where we know he is. Oh, this is difficult. Let me sing it to you. We travel a road that has no end, and the road itself is our journey's friend. For the road is beloved, may his name. in which is our beginning and our end. Behold us now with minds and hearts empty of all but love's consuming flame, going swiftly, silently on our journey, always singing, singing his name. We travel a road that can't be seen by eyes other than ours, though so keen, and we sing our songs to no one but may hear, for his tears have made the desert green. Behold us now with minds and hearts empty of all but love's consuming flame. We're going swiftly, silently on our journey, always singing, singing his name. We travel a road that leads nowhere but to the feet of our beautiful Mayhair, and our coins our own name stamped Mayhair gold, and our songs are alone for our Mayhair. Behold us now with mind and heart empty of all but love's consuming flame. We're going swiftly, silently on our journey, always singing, singing his name. Our Spartans singing, we're singing his name. I thought I'd spontaneously jazz it up a bit, Noreen and Mary. It's a good song jazzed up like that. Hey, I love this thing of we travel the road. It's called Mayer's name, and we've left behind the world and its false claim. And we don't have coins. Any coin we have just says it's Mayhair. It's a gold called Mayhair, and on it stamped his glorious name. So behold us now, with minds and hearts empty of all but love's consuming flame. We're going swiftly, silently on our journey, always singing, singing his name. So I decided it really should be jazzed up. The kids can't have everything, you know. Come on, somebody. Oh, here we go. Rosalie or Betty. I don't know who was first. Rosalie?
Hey, Baba.
Hey, Baba.
This is something very beautiful that Francis wrote after Baba dropped his body. When Mara, the most beloved of the beloved, came into the room and cried to him to come back, it was the cry of all hallowed distances and hollow places. And the men stared at a familiar horizon receding into its infinity. But their beloved Baba was not dead. He had inexplicably withdrawn himself for a moment, and that moment was too long to bear. For 47 years, he had never been out of sight of one or another 24 hours a day, and now he had slipped away like an eel from one's hand, like the stars at the approach of dawn. He was, and then was not. He no longer was, but he was still there.
Beautiful. What is that in, Rosalie?
It's in a very strange place. It's in Mayor Baba on the problem of sex. How it ended up there, God only knows. But that's where I found it, and I think it is just says it. It just says it. Yeah. And I have one other line that I absolutely love. Love of God and knowledge of truth have always been spread through art, never by evangelism. Evangelism is message minus beauty of form, and so is no message. God, man is beauty itself.
Wonderful. Rosalie is so well read. When we did the Word at World's End reading, and I recommend that people listen to the recording of the final product of the Word at World's End reading, where Greg Dunn, myself, Rosalie Dunphy and Chris Barker read the entire book. And at the end of it, there's a beautiful slideshow with the wine shop singers singing Hymn to God the Man. And I think we might close with that, Betty. What do you think?
Yeah.
Betty's got something to read first. But you're muted, Betty.
Sorry. Okay. This is probably this poem I learned in this. By the way, you notice Rosalie has memorized all this. She's not looking at a book. She's
Right.
to memorize.
Amazing.
This is a poem I've always loved. The moon was low, a silver sickle on a field of blue.
When I met you.
When I met you and loved you with a love I could not know. Oh dear.
Would break my heart.
There you go. All I knew was that I would go with you to world's end, for I was your shadow. The night was clear. Your eyes were stars within 2 drops of dew. When I met you and loved you with a love that had no fear, though it broke my heart. All I knew was that I had to bear journey to world's end, should you so choose to steer. Meher, my love. Meher, my love.
Thank you. When that was originally written, it was written to the swallow, the tune of the South American song, The Swallow. The moon was low, a silver sickle on a field of blue. When I met you and loved you with a love I could not know would break my heart. All I knew was I would go with you to world's end, for I was your shadow. But along came a young one, Michaela DuPont's brother, and he wrote the tune we know. The moon was low, a silver sickle on a field of blue. When I met you, and loved you with a love that had no fear, though it broke my heart. When I met you, all I knew was that I would go with you to world's end, for I was your shadow. Meher, my love, Meher, my love. So from that moment on, when Francis heard it at that 1971 anniversary, he said, "This is the version I prefer." Even though he had sung the other version to Baba, and Baba had approved it. So that is written by Michaela's brother, Les DuPont.
And Debbie Nordine was singing it right along.
Oh,
with
yes. She knows all these songs.
I love it.
Yeah, she knows all these the East-West Gathering collection is so simple and so heartrending and beautiful. And that's in the 8 Sorts of Lovers. It's the first song of the 8 Sorts of Lovers section, which has always been amazing that should be a separate book. It just sort of popped in the middle of East-West Gathering, the 8 Sorts of Lovers. So I think to close, what would be nice is to see the slideshow with the wine shop singers and Sam Saunders' composition of the music of Hymn to God the Man. Now I have to tell you that in 1974, when Industai Singh came out, we had already been working on some music from The Word at World's End. And one of the songs we learned was a madrigal in several parts. How beautiful you are, what a dreaming in the dawn is your brow. What oceans of love are your eyes, how beautiful you are. And we learned that and we sang it in India, and next thing we know, it's got a bit added onto it. Then it's got another little bit added onto it. And then the next thing, by about 2013, it's an entire half-hour piece to melody from Hymn to God the Man, the 5th section of The Word at World's End. And now, after us doing our reading, Chris Barker has put this beautiful slideshow to it. So please enjoy it with us. And the slides Chris found are phenomenal. Do you have it there, Betty? No. Thank you, everyone. Jai Baba.
Beloved God, all the earth is singing you, singing you, singing you. In the impermanent materials of stone, leaf and heart, singing you, yearning, leaning towards your reaping, singing you, yearning, leaning towards your reaping. God the Father, the Son of yourself, oh God, perfect man, cherisher of the sap in all things,
destroyer of the worn out, the faults of all things,
releaser of the love in all things, which locked in the prison of heart, in leaf and stone, raises itself in longing towards your reaping, longing towards your reaping. You are the perennial and glorious avatar,
the human and lovely Rasul,
the sudden and beautiful Christ, who stoops to man's state and walks the earth, carrying the cross of our violences, of our little stupidities of progress,
our little stupidities of progress
to other than God, our own perfect self-state, our own perfect self-state. For we have ever turned from that which we most passionately desire, and hated that which we most dearly loved.
carrying your cross,
Carrying your cross,
carrying your cross,
carrying your cross,
talking intimately with your disciples as their brother,
carrying your cross,
teaching them, nourishing them as their master,
carrying your cross, cracking a joke as you pause to wipe the sweat from your lovely forehead, your lovely forehead. God, man, oh God, perfect man.
fire and the wind.
And before this, to civilizations, to cavemen, to civilizations, millions of times.
Back to the time of your creating man and earth and the universe.
Out of your whim of self-knowing,
Spanning the immensity of time in one moment of your perfect manhood, your perfect manhood, your perfect manhood. Ever beloved would we be eagles of praise to you. Ever are we dust trying to sing your glory. Ever are we dust trying to sing your glory.
how beautiful
How
you
beautiful you are. What a dreaming in the dawn is your
dreaming
is
the
your
dawn is your brow.
What oceans of love are your eyes.
How beautiful you are.
What music,
What music of our new singing is in your throat.
what a
What
proud
a proud new architecture. What a proud new architecture is in your hands. How perfectly shaped are your feet for our beyond journeying. How beautiful you are. Beautiful you are. The symmetry of your body is the assurance of our well-being. How beautiful you are.
how beautiful
You are the song of old singers who have ever sung. You are the tenderness of lovers of old time. How beautiful you
From the thread of nothingness, you wove this vast universe.
And this little earth.
And man, all because you did not know who you were.
All because you did not know who you were. And had the whim to know yourself.
As whole God, as perfect man.
As whole God, as perfect man.
Out of absolutely nothing, this sea means something contained within your everything.
Out of absolutely nothing, this sea means something contained within your everything.
Your everything, your everything.
Oh, the long way from the stars first singing.
The long pain from the time you broke out of your imprisonment of stone and crept up age after age to man's state.
Yourself, your own image of you, perfectly sculptured, articulated for self-knowing.
Your ear eager for your voice, your eye for sight of you.
How dense you were in hard denseness, stone locked in your dreams of yourself as stone.
How tree-rooted you became, thrusting upwards, spreading out gropingly toward your infinity.
How feeble you were as worm.
How silently you glided through swamps, through the grass as serpent, seeking yourself.
And as lizard scurried and stretched yourself in the sun.
How you fish swam in the shallow waters, seeking yourself.
Dive down deep in the ocean,
Scaled waterfalls, seeking yourself in the highest waters.
how as animal you longed in animal longing for yourself.
Crashing out of the jungle, trumpeting like the rising sun.
Howling across frozen steppes,
Crying in fox cry like a child in distress in the night.
bull bellowed, bull staring into the sunset, pouring the earth, longing intensely for yourself.
Proudly over plains, Lord of the world.
Stealthily at night through silent forests, suddenly alive.
Then stood up, beating your breast, unable to endure not being man, not being man. you became man. And how great was your fall. You had hammered out on the anvil of time your true shape, by means of which you could know who you were. But you forgot all about the long way and the long pain, and why you had had the fortitude to endure it.
You dithered about, digging in the earth,
examining what you found, stared at stars,
wondering,
beguiled by what you had already been, made wars
instead of war on yourself,
always conquering, 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 but not your own nature. What a gainsaying of the long way and the long pain. The long pain. But eventually you turn.
you turned
You turn.
and took your stand in the puzzle and seed of yourself.
And became your own hero and fought your way out of the tangle of flesh and the drift of stars. Stars.
Found out the backward path that leads forward to self.
Across the terrible shining plains of your own energy and its allurements and enchantments. Stormed mind,
Destroyed mind,
stormed mind,
destroyed mind and its illusion of other than self.
prove the seeming of everything to be nothing, nothing but your dream of other than yourself, and became yourself, became yourself, oh God, and returned to earth as perfect man, and taught us the law and the love and the way to self, to truth. Millions of times in your compassion you have come to us, borne the cross of our rejection and violence, and waited with vast patience the extent of our folly, of our little greeds and progress, little greeds and progress,
to other than self, self, self.
now again you have walked the earth, but as the moment of your glory drew near, the talk with your disciples died on your lips, and the swift glances fled from your eyes.
Your brow was a sea of concrete in which no green thing lived. Your body was all the steel of the world, made into a cross on which you hung and waited the eternity of the precise moment of your word,
which was our destroying and renewal,
and the again path for our stubborn feet, again path for our stubborn feet. How the glory of your brow is the light of our safe journey. The love of your eyes is the mirror of our revealment, and the certainty of our arrival. How glorious you are as man, how helpless as God, so helpless that you could not hide your Godhood, even behind the walls of your pain. How very man you are, how absolutely gone, how very man you are, how absolutely
Thank you, Betty. Thank you, Betty. That was lovely to see it again. Chris did a great job. You know, he said he hadn't done one before, so he'd have a go at it. I mean, for goodness sake, if that's where he starts out. Oh, it's amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good thing to memorize too. And it's the whole of evolution. Sort of God speaks in Him to God the man. It's amazing. So everybody, thank you for having a happy birthday together. And just all we can say to giving us a poet with the avatar whom we knew, whom we know, who we can read, that we know the authenticity of. We know all about it. We don't have that with another avatar, really. We are in a very, very fortunate position to have our Francis, and how loving he was and friendly and inclusive of us all. Jai Maya Baba. If
Thank you, Raine.
everyone
Thank you so
unmute.
much.
Avatar, Meher Baba,
Baba
Ki
Ki Jai.
Beloved Avatar, Meher Baba,
Baba
Ki
Ki Jai.
Avatar, Meher Baba,
Baba
Ki
Ki Jai.
Thank you, Baba.
Happy birthday on Monday.
Happy birthday, Francis.
Happy birthday, Rainey.
And
as
Rainey.
well.
Happy birthday, Rainy, too. Yeah.
Raine?
What a
My
Saturday.
birthday, there's my birthday, Balna too, and Francis are all the 24th of January.
Really?
I don't know how I joined these ranks, but I did somehow.
Fantastic.
It was very clever
Good
of me. I
company.
got chicken and cake on my birthdays in the early days when we had nothing.
Oh, beautiful
Rainey.
program, Rainey.
Beautiful.
Thank you, everyone. So creative. So many beautiful ideas and stories. Thank you. Just lovely. Well, we're setting off for Myrtle Beach in the snow and the ice and the cold. We'll see if we get there, huh? On my birthday.
Good luck, Rainy.
Yes, really. Sillier things we've done. But we had these tickets and they were going to roll off on the 31st. What could we do?
Are you going as far as you know?
We're booked. Everything is booked. It's just that the weather, we've got hurricanes here and branches falling down and power going out and 3,000 flights cancelled and Myrtle Beach has got an ice something or other from the Arctic. We'll see if we make it. I've got my snow boots.
Oh, it'll be melted in a day or two. Don't even worry. It'll be gone like that. That's how it is in the South.
Yeah, I saw Patrick sitting on the beach with a thin jacket in the sun, sunbaking just last Wednesday, so I know it can chop and change. But I do have a Philadelphian snow coat with a full wool button-in lining.
Take it. Take it with you for sure.
I will, yeah.
Never know.
You never
Thank
know.
you, everyone. Have a nice evening.
Wonderful.
A lovely time. That man, Francis. Wow.
Yes, I know. It's just,
Oh my goodness.
I love everyone's favorite things and favorite takes. It's just fantastic, isn't it?
It is. It is. Oh, great performance. Great program. Great program.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey, Baba.
Lovely sharing.
All right. Hey, I think we all need a cup of tea now.
Yeah, go make a cup of tea, not with a tea bag. Yay, Barbara.
Yay, Baba.
How you doing, Jeanette? Are you okay? Did you peel your banyas?
I've still got a whole
Whole banya to go, right?
It must take a while.
Bush food.
Jeanette, what time is it for you now?
It's 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Sunday.
Sunday morning, that's right.
Wonderful.
Hey,
So
Barbara.
good.
Happy birthday tomorrow, our time, Rainy, darling.
Oh, yes, that's the thing. In America, I get to be a day younger.
Bye-bye.
I think that's how it works.
Bye, Jeanette. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, lovely.
Baba.
Hey,
Jai
Baba.
Baba. Jai Baba.
Because people ask me for things.
Well, all right. I'm going to go ahead and end the program so we'll all disappear. I'm sorry. Little time for dinner.
Great.
Hey, Baba.
Wonderful program.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, man.
Jay
Really.
Baba.
Yeah. Jai Baba.
Jay Baba.